Story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. In our major story, clamor for state creation pitches delegates against one another at the National Conference. Also in this program, Edo State House of Assembly impeaches Deputy Speaker on allegations of misconduct and misdemeanor. Adamawa State House of Assembly orders Chief Judge to constitute a 7-man panel to probe allegations of gross misconduct against Governor Murtala Nyako and his deputy. Outside Nigeria, 4 people die as cargo plane crashes into building in Kenya shortly after takeoff.
Tonight on Business News, federal government denies increase in duties on used cars to 70%.
Sports tonight. Defending champions Nandamori crashes out of ongoing Wimbledon Tennis Championship.
And we'll begin in Abuja, where the Senate has unanimously confirmed former Kano State Governor Ibrahim Shekarau and 3 other nominees as ministers. The other minister designates are Dayo Adeyeye, Abdulbulema and Stephen Oru. The confirmation hearing lasted about 2 hours and saw senators grilling the nominees on a number of national issues. We'll bring you details of that report shortly. The clamor for state creation has pitched delegates against one another at the National Conference. Some delegates claimed that it was wrong for the Committee on Political Restructuring and Forms of Government to recommend creation of one state for the Southeast alone, without anything for other zones. The committee approved criteria for the creation of states by saying that any new state sought to be created must be viable. In determining what is viable, the committee says such state must be economically viable or potentially economically viable, and it should have human, natural and material resources and should have a minimum land mass. The new state should, according to the committee, also have cultural and historical affinity in addition to a minimum population of 1 million people. There were 34 requests for state creation before the committee, while a request was made to change the name of Adamawa State to Gongola State. A delegate who was a former Minister of Industry, Nike Akonde, canvassed the creation of another state from the present Oyo State. In his contribution, a former national chairman of the ruling People's Democratic Party, Amodu Ali, queries the rationale used by the committee to award a new state for the Southeast. Another PDP stalwart, Olabode George, also called for the creation of Isale Eko State from the present Lagos State. The Edo State House of Assembly has impeached the Deputy Speaker Festus Ebere on allegations of misconduct and misdemeanor. The 15 lawmakers, including the Speaker of the House, Uigbe, endorsed the impeachment when it held plenary at an old chamber located at the Government House in Benin. Moving the motion for the impeachment, a member of the House, Folio Gedengbe, representing Owan East 1, noted that the suspended Deputy Speaker was bound to be impeached, citing Section 92, subsection 2C of the 1999 Constitution and Section 72, Rule 19 of the Assembly. The lawmakers also elected a new Deputy Speaker, Victor Edoro, who took the oath of office immediately. The House explained that it had to hold seating at the old chamber following ongoing renovation in the chambers located at the Anthony Enahoru's Assembly Complex, which he linked to the forcibly entry by the Deputy Speaker and some aides. The House has adjourned sitting to July 7 and says it will resume plenary in the old chamber. However, the impeached Deputy Speaker described the development as executive impunity and madness. The Adamawa State House of Assembly has directed the Chief Judge of the state to constitute a 7-man panel to investigate the acts of gross misconduct leveled against Governor Murtala Nyako and his deputy Bala James Ngilari for 7 days. The resolution was adopted by 20 out of the 25 lawmakers that resolved that Nyako and Ngilari be investigated by the panel to be constituted by the Chief Judge of the state with immediate effect. The proceedings of the panel are expected to be held in public and shall be conducted from the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day of the 7 days. The lawmakers adopted the panel of investigation rules of procedure of Adamawa State, which Fintiri said should include a chairman and a secretary and 5 others, and should adopt ordinary rules of fair hearing. Meanwhile, the defense counsel to Governor Murtala Nyako, Ayo Akam, who held briefs for Kanua Gombe, described the action of the Adamawa House of Assembly as a contempt of court, as the court had already restrained the House from carrying on the impeachment process. As the move to impeach Adamawa Governor Murtala Nyako and his deputy Bala Ngilari is ongoing, a Lagos-based lawyer, Oken Ziako, has condemned what he termed the move to impeach the governor illegally. He says the revelations both by the legislators and the PDP elders has shown that the impeachment is nothing but another sign of the selfishness of an average Nigerian politician. Oken Ziako, who was on a visit to a Lagos station, said precedents has shown that this kind of impeachment will always be reversed by the courts.
Their decision to go ahead despite an order, a valid order of court, is illegal. The House of Assembly is embarking on a journey of illegality because an order of court has succinctly and definitely made it clear what procedure to follow. And such procedure is also as clearly spelled out in the Constitution on the way and manner, the process and procedure to remove a sitting chief executive of a state. And anything short of that will amount to a journey in futility. Because if they end up passing a vote of impeachment on Murtala Nyako, Murtala Nyako will simply go to court and upturn such impeachment. So they should save their own time and save the time of the people and do legislation instead of embarking on a journey of futility.
Meanwhile, contrary to claims by the Adamawa state government that the state salaries account have been frozen by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the State House of Assembly says money is available for the payment of June salaries of workers and has called on the government to pay without further delay.
The non-payment of June salaries in Adamawa State took center stage at plenary at the sitting of the House as a matter of public importance. Mofarni Theman, who presented the issue before the House, says it is worrying that 4 days into a new month, salaries for June are still unpaid.
In May 2014, worker salaries were deducted without reason. The House intervened with resolutions to no avail. Mr. Speaker, today is 1st of July. It is a tradition and a practice that salaries are normally paid 24th. With any delay, at least it doesn't exceed the end of the month. The salary for the month of June is unpaid as at this time as we speak. And naturally, civil servants and all citizens of Adamawa are worried. I want to call on all honorable members to look into this matter squarely. At any time, there's no reason why civil service should be put to stress. I believe it is the sole responsibility of this House to stand because we represent the good people of Adamawa State.
Lawmakers who spoke on the floor of the House decried the insensitivity of government to the plight of civil servants in the state.
This action is not fair to the people of Adamawa State, especially our Muslim brothers. It's not fair to the Constitution of the Federal Government of Nigeria because the Constitution first declares that the welfare of the citizens comes before any project or any other thing you can talk of.
I want to inform this House that on good authority,
Assembly, however, says it will support the probe of the state's finances by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
The first one goes, if the House has no objection, that the state government should, without further delay, pay June salary immediately for the fact that the salary account and the running cost account has been opened by the Economic and Financial Crime Commission. Is that the decision of this House?
One of the 20-point allegations of gross misconduct leveled against Governor Nyako is the deliberate non-payment of 2 months' salaries.
However, the Adamawa state government has refuted claims by the State House of Assembly that one of the state government's accounts has not been frozen. The Director of Press and Public Affairs, Ahmed Sajo, says the lawmaker's directive that the state government immediately pays June salaries is blackmail. Sajo says the House of Assembly is aware of the illegality of the freezing of the state accounts by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, adding that any statement relating to which account is closed or open is mere speculation. Sajo stressed that the non-payment of June salaries is precipitated by the illegal act of the EFCC, which is endorsed by the Adamawa State House of Assembly. The indefinite strike embarked upon by the Nigerian Medical Association is taking its toll on the sick people in Ekiti. Rashid visited the Federal Medical Center in Ido-Ekiti and found in this report.
The Federal Medical Center in Ido-Ekiti is the largest medical facility in Ekiti State. On a normal day, the hospital is a beehive of activities. The nationwide strike by the Nigerian Medical Association has made the health facility a ghost of its former self. Only nurses are seen tending to patients. The doctors seem not comfortable with the presence of CoreTV News at the hospital.
Where are you from? It's a TV. What's happening the NMA strike. Okay. And our designated people.
That was the designated person of people.
He will tell you. They are on strike now. He will tell you. Your chief host will tell you.
The patients' lounge have been deserted. There are only few patients present in the wards. The hospital authority, however, says that they are doing their best to take care of those in critical condition.
Top management of this hospital decided that we should at least alleviate the problems of some of the very critically ill patients that we have around. To that effect, the management decided that the consultants who have patients in the wards who cannot actually cope at home, who cannot cope in any way at home, the consultants should come on daily basis and at least to update their treatment and see them.
Owing to the strategic importance of the Federal Medical Center in Ido, Okere said skeletal service will be offered by core doctors in the accident and emergency section only for stabilizing patients.
We only attend to a lot of accident cases, and for that reason, some of our copper doctors have been mandated to at least stay at the accident and emergency to avail accident victim.
Just minor, maybe see some few patients at the GOPD. The patients that are brought to accident and emergency just to stabilize and ensure that their lives are saved.
As polytechnic lecturers are fighting the government, it's the masses that bear the brunt. Now doctors are on nationwide strike. Who bears the brunt? The masses. The earlier the doctors come back to work, the better for the masses, which the government and the doctors claim they are serving. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ido-Ekiti.
A Labour activist, Obatomewa Odunsowo, has called on the federal government to sit down and negotiate with workers in the health sector and bring to an end the strike in the sector. Odunsowo, who was on the visit to our Lagos office, says the ongoing strike in the health sector is one that should not have gone ahead, but for what he describes as the insincerity of the government. He says the government must do more to address the issue and save lives of Nigerians.
It's very unfortunate that despite 15 years of our democracy, we find ourselves in this serious mess. And it has been a culture that politicians, they are always enemies of civil servants, either at any levels of human endeavor in terms of profession. Sorry, either you are an engineer working for ministry, or either you're a medical doctor working in government hospitals, or you're a teacher teaching working for the government. You know, the problem is Nigerian politicians who find themselves into politics. The unfortunate aspect is we are having wrong set of people in our government, and they don't really value the workforce, because when you don't value your workforce, then you are bound to fail. And if you look at allegations of fraud here and there, you will hear millions of billions of naira being diverted from one account to the other. You know, the doctor strike, I hope nationwide, that started yesterday, shouldn't have even come up at all, because negotiation has been on for long. Like look at what happened in Osun State, where the governor was to have paid some amount of money. The Ekiti before the election. Fayose was to pay teachers some certain percentage of increment in their salary. He told them there was no money. Then when electionary was about to come out during the campaign, he now paid the money just to canvass people to get their vote. So that is wickedness. So at this point, I hope the labor leaders at the head sector should go in a negotiation with the federal government, and as soon as possible, the strike should be called off.
This is Lagos, and you're watching CoreTV Primetime News. Do join us again shortly for more stories after this break.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
This one wash challenge, you test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station. You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
The police authorities have rejected claims by the All Progressives Congress of a meeting where security operatives were instructed to work for the presidency on the eve of the governorship elections in Ekiti State. The police specifically described comments by the APC spokesman, Lai Mohammed, in a television interview as unkind and misleading. Police spokesman Frank Mba said in a statement that there was no time a politician held the meeting with a so-called strike force comprising the Army, Police and SSS and instructed them to protect the interest of their benefactor. He dismissed the allegation as improbable and warned politicians to desist from promoting what he termed deliberate falsehood. The police spokesman maintained that officers and men of the police only take lawful orders from their commanders. As the nation continues to grapple with security challenges, residents of Lagos have been urged to be vigilant. The State Commissioner of Police Umar Manko made the statement after a closed-door meeting of security chiefs and religious leaders in the state.
Lagosians should be more security conscious. We have always told them to know their neighbor. They should know what happens around their surroundings and environments. Where they have doubt, they should report to security agencies.
The Lagos State Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Transportation, Miriam Masha, have enjoined transport and market operators in Oyigbo Motor Park to be law-abiding and cooperate with law enforcement officials to enhance safety. Omotayo Alo was at the community outreach program organized by Law Enforcement Training Institute. Her report.
Religious leaders present spoke on the need to be law-abiding and to keep the environment clean.
We want free movement of vehicles and neat environment. At least what we see in Lagos now, you see Lagos is very, very neat.
The LASMA, the KAI should love the citizens of Lagos State because they are prepared to be law-abiding. And everything should be done with carefulness, with respect to others and to elders.
The effort of government was commended on the sensitization by market operators who, like the proverbial Oliver Twist, asked the government to do more to ease their operations.
Lagos State government should do more for us is that about our market. It's not completed, it's not finished yet. Maybe they should try to help us to complete in time.
Speaking on the security situation in the country, Masha and religious leaders say vigilance and cooperation from Nigerians is key to having a safe environment.
The rule of law is the only thing that protects everybody. And we should be law-abiding. We should make sure that our responsibilities are our responsibilities. We own up to them and we take them. We accept them and let those that are in the position of enforcing the laws do their job while we do ours. It's the only way that we can collectively move the state forward.
We should remember this Boko Haram. And that's why we are appealing to LASMA to be vigilant, KAI to be vigilant, and people, market women, people in the garage to come and cooperate with them. If we see what is happening in the north, the operational places in the north are places of worship. Not even churches alone, but mosques, and then garages, and then marketplaces.
When there is laborliness, you take care of your environment and you'll be security conscious so that when you are security conscious, you will be able to identify any discrepancy in the environment. If there's any problem, you can easily alert the security operative so that action will be taken immediately.
Government officials say more of such sensitization programs will be organized until a transformation is achieved in the markets and motor parks of the state. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The National Emergency Management Agency in Kaduna State has presented relief materials to victims of the gun attacks in southern Kaduna. The Northwest Zonal Coordinator of NEMA, Musa Ilala, said it is palliative from the federal government. He promised that NEMA will conduct an assessment for permanent settlement of the affected persons. The Executive Secretary, Kaduna State Emergency Management Agency, Ishaku Dogo, thanked the federal government for the assistance. Dogo said the state government was overwhelmed by the number of displaced persons when the attack happened. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is now removing drugs without approved authentication service code from pharmacies. This, according to the enforcement team, is part of efforts to check the sale of counterfeit drugs in the country. Persama witnessed one of the team's operations in Abuja.
The mobile authentication service was introduced by NAFDAC 2 years ago.
The aim is for consumers to easily detect counterfeit drugs at the point of purchase. But years after its introduction, some drug manufacturers are still not complying with NAFDAC directive. This pharmaceutical store was a point of call for NAFDAC pharmacovigilance team to clear the store of drugs without the mobile authentication service code.
Even when products are registered and they're in the market, that people do at times counterfeit the products and also affix the NAFDAC numbers. So this mass code is a mobile technology-based system that we have brought to reinforce that securing of the products with the NAFDAC number, so that this mass code will now let the consumer know that this product is actually coming from that source that is stated on the package. And if the code is not there and it has a NAFDAC number, you may not know whether this is a counterfeited NAFDAC number or whether it's actually genuine. So they work hand in hand.
The NAFDAC official did not hold back, as she ordered the manufacturers of these drugs to recall the drugs from circulation within 30 days.
Them 30 calendar days for them to ensure that the owners come forward, and then the owners themselves have 90 working days to ensure that these products are fixed with the mass code. The consumer at the point of purchase, when they purchase the product, before even they pay, they're supposed to scratch and send to the code that is there, the short code, and that will confirm whether it's actually coming from that particular source or not.
For now, NAFDAC has suspended the sale of these drugs on the grounds that they may not be healthy for human consumption. They can only be on the shelves when the mobile authentication service code is affixed on them. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The Federal Executive Council has approved a 5.6 billion naira contract for the completion of Mangu Dam in Plateau State. Briefing newsmen after the council meeting, Information Minister Labaran Mako and his water resources counterpart Cyril Chekwe said the project would on completion serve more than 700,000 people in 10 communities. They added that the project is expected to generate employment opportunities for thousands of local residents.
It's a very important project for the Mangu community, and the water supply scheme is supposed to not only support the people of Mangu, but also about 10 other communities along with Mangu. Overall, about 700,000 people benefit from this dam. So the Ministry of Water Resources, after terminating the contract for lack of performance, went back to BPP to procure the contract afresh for the completion of the Mangu Regional Urban Water Supply Scheme.
Today, Council approved the award of contract for the completion of the Mangu Dam, which is a component of the Mangu Regional Water Supply Scheme. The initial contract for the dam was awarded in 2002, but not much was done. Only about 22% of the work was done after 22 months. And the contractor did not show seriousness in completing the work. The first contract for the construction of the dam is called Trans Project Nigeria Limited. And between when the contract was awarded and when they stopped work, about 1 billion naira had been paid to them. Specifically, the communities that will be benefiting from this contract, the water supply scheme, are Mangu, Gendri, Mangu Hale, Kadunun, Vondi, Panyam, Pushit, Amper, Mangun, and Langa.
Federal government allays fears of jacking up import duties on used cars up to 70%. For details of that and more, John Sebenazoku on Business News coming up shortly after this break.
This one wash challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. first, chocolate. And juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN, everywhere you go.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Nigerians continue to
travel the city of Lagos.
There is still a one level of
Be the first to know.
CoreTV News.
From the north, south, east, west and around Africa. We break the news.
We are one Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV.
Our 24-hour news station.
Hello there, you're welcome to the world of business with me, Sabena Izoku. The federal government has denied plans to jerk up import duties on used cars up to 70%. The Minister of Trade and Investment, Olusegun Aganga, told journalists after the meeting of the Federal Executive Council meeting that there was no such plans. He also insists that the federal government will not ban used cars.
The article had claimed that used cars are now, that the duty on used cars is now 70% from yesterday. That is incorrect. It is 35%. It's also claimed that all used cars now coming to the country will pay duty of 70%. That again is incorrect. For all those in the auto policy program, all those assembly cars in the program, if you recall, the policy is that they will be able to import cars to meet the gap. When you look at production and the demand in the country, the gap, they'll be able to import those cars at 35%.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has warned that no deposit money bank should, without its prior approval, grant facilities to potential borrowers that are defaulting any existing facilities to the tune of 500 million naira and above. The Central Bank of Nigeria stated this in the letter signed by its Director of Banking Supervision, Tokunbo Martins, a copy of which was posted on its website. The banking sector regulator also warned that development banks and banks in liquidation not to grant facilities up to 250 million naira and above to the same set of bank customers. The letter addressed to all deposit money banks, development financial institutions, and Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCOM, was titled Prohibition of Loan Defaulters from Further Access to Credit Facilities in the Nigerian Banking System. It stated the decision was taken because of the level of impunity with which some borrowers default on their loans, and some institutions are availed for further credit facilities by other institutions under the same or sometimes different identity. The federal government has disclosed an intention to come out with a financial instrument that will guarantee single-digit interest rate for investors. The Executive Director, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC, Segun Awolowo said this in Abeokuta at the end of the 54th Annual Conference of the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA, adding that the single-digit financial instrument is in final stages and will be made available for investors soon. Earlier, Mohammed Abubakar, president of NASIMA, decried the harsh economic condition of the country as being caused by high interest rate, high cost of power and production, as well as delay in budgetary process of the federal government, which he said has greatly affected the economic atmosphere, especially on the part of the investors. The federal government is in a collaborative synergy with the Chinese aviation experts to float a long-awaited national carrier. The Supervisor Minister of Aviation, Samuel Autumn, expressed the federal government preparedness to partner with the Chinese investors on the national carrier, which will have both the private and the public sector as stakeholders in the project. He promised that the federal government will create an enabling environment for the investors in the aviation industry, adding that the government is willing to work with the genuine investors to float the national carrier, which the country seriously needed. The Chinese business delegation led by Wang Wenzhou expressed confidence that this discussion will yield tremendous economic benefits to Nigeria. The minister stated that the experts from the government will involve officials from the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria (FAN), the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority (NCAA), and the Nigerian Airspace Management Authority (NAMA). The Nigerian-Chinese bilateral cooperation has boosted trade between the two countries, leading to a remarkable increase in volume of the transaction last year. The Consul General of the People's Republic of China to Nigeria, Liu Kan, who spoke at the ongoing investment forum in Port Harcourt, organized by the Rivers State government, said the export and import trade volume of the two countries stood at $210 billion last year, which represents about 5.9%. He said the bilateral relationship between the two countries has resulted in foreign direct investments, FDIs, in various sectors of the economy, by Chinese, adding that he will encourage more Chinese enterprises to expand investment in the manufacturing sector. He also pledged to encourage Chinese entrepreneurs to transfer technologies and train personnel to increase local job opportunities. Kan commended the federal government for creating an enabling environment for the foreign businesses to thrive and called for the protection of Chinese entrepreneurs' safety in the country. He said Nigeria has become Chinese 7th largest export market. Operators of the tank farm in the Apapa area have been urged to conduct their businesses with more consideration for others and be vigilant. The Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola made this known during his visit to Apapa, which is home to two of the nation's busiest seaports and several other businesses, which has been plagued by the traffic gridlock. He attributed the cost of hundreds of fuel trailer tankers, which park in unauthorized areas, obstructing the traffic in a quest to lift petroleum products from the tank farms located in the area. Fashola, however, urged the tank farm owners to reflect on the negative impacts of the operations on other businesses and the environment generally. You must spare a thought for those who do other businesses in Apapa. They are complaining to me about how tankers have taken over their businesses, and the people I see here are some of the most sophisticated people that our country has produced. I think we can do better, he said. And on the stock market report, equity transaction on the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a bearish note. Market capitalization depreciated by 1.8 points to close lower at 42,609.75 basis points. Also, market capitalization, which opened at 14.070 trillion naira, dropped to close lower at 14.069 trillion naira. In all, a total of 389 million shares valued at 4.48 billion naira were exchanged in 5,488 deals. On the gainers chart, Seplat PLC topped the gainers chart, followed by 40 Oil PLC, GlaxoSmithKline PLC, UACN PLC, and the International Brewers PLC. On the losers chart, on the other hand, Julius Berger PLC led the losers chart, followed by Total PLC, Guinness PLC, Nestle PLC, and Cadbury PLC. And here are the top 5 trades. And that's it on business news. Coming up next is sport news with Bronson Uwana. However, a giant just crashed out from the Wimbledon. There's more on this. Stay with us.
Sabina, how the Giants fall in Wimbledon. But to begin the story, the news tonight on the home front, where the Super Eagles are expected to return to Nigeria on Friday after their outstart from the 2014 FIFA World Cup in Brazil. However, not all the 23 players will return with the team to the country, as some of the players have already gone to join their club side from pre-season. Team administrator Tayo Enebi says all logistics have been put in place for those who will not return to the country. Nigeria were beaten 2-0 by France in round 16 to crash out of the tournament. And of course, still on the World Cup, Brazil legend Diego Maradona has criticized Blaise Matuidi's malicious tackle on Eugenio Nazi. Nigeria lost 2-0 to France in the round of 16 played on Monday. Maradona was also critical of the World Football Governing Body FIFA for not coming down heavily on French midfielder, whose tackle he said was worse than Luis Suarez' incident with Giorgio Chiellini. Onazi was stretched out of the game in the 54th minute and has undergone surgery, which has now forced him to use clutches. Of course, I'm still on the FIFA World Cup, some controversy rocking as FIFA head of media Malia Fisher says there is no evidence of any match manipulation. The convicted match fixer Wilson Raj has denied he correctly predicted Cameroon's result against Croatia before the game. Cameroon lost each of their 3 games, including a 4-0 defeat by Croatia, in which midfielder Alex Song was sent off on the 40th minute. And of course, straight to Wimbledon, where Bulgarian Giorgio Dimitrov outplayed Andy Murray on centre court to end the Britain's Wimbledon title defence in the quarter-finals. The 23-year-old Dimitrov, seeded 11th, played superbly to win 6-1, 7-6, 7-4, 6-2 in 2 hours and 1 minute and reach his first Grand Slam semi-finals. Murray had been on a 17-match winning streak at Wimbledon and was looking to reach his 6th consecutive semi-finals. Meanwhile, 7-time champion Roger Federer and top seed Novak Djokovic fight back to claim their place in the semi-finals. Federer had a 3-6, 7-5, 7-5, 6-4, 6-4 victory over Stanislav Wawrinka, while Novak Djokovic defeated Croatian Milan Cilic 6-1, 3-6, 6-4, 4-7, 6-2, 6-2 to progress. And finally, on sport news tonight, some athletic story. Former 100 champion and 200-meter world Tyson Gay returns from a doping ban on Thursday Diamond League in Switzerland. The 31-year-old American, who was suspended for 12 months after testing positive for an anabolic steroid, takes on Justin Gatlin in the 100-meter. Gay's best of 9.67 seconds has only been battered by Usain Bolt. Gatlin, Olympic 100-meter champion in 2004, was given an 8-year doping ban in 2006, but had it upheld in 2008. That's a wrap on Sport News tonight. My name is Brownson Uwana. Very big thanks for watching, and the news continues shortly with Nifemi Oguntoye.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360.
2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. Indeed, impossibility is nothing in the world of sport. And now to all the stories around the world. We begin in Kenya, where at least 4 people died when a cargo plane crashed into a building shortly after takeoff from the Kenya capital's main airport, the busiest in East Africa. Kenya National Disaster Operations Center said all 4 had died in the crash, and the 2 bodies had so far been recovered from the wreckage. The plane crashed before dawn, a time when the building was largely empty, and no other casualties have been reported. An eyewitness at the scene said the plane had smashed into a low-rise building containing small stores and shops some 3 kilometers from the airport. The area around the airport includes a mix of both industrial zones with factories as well as housing and shops. Airports Authority Security Chief Eric Kiareth said the airport was briefly closed for a few minutes as a matter of procedure, but it has since been opened. A Palestinian teenager is kidnapped and killed in an apparent act of revenge for the murder of 3 Israeli youths triggering clashes in East Jerusalem. Israeli Army radio said the teenager was snatched while hitchhiking in East Jerusalem and his body dumped in a forest in the western part of the city in what was described as a suspected revenge attack. As the news spread, crowds of angry Palestinians gathered outside the teenager's home, throwing stones at police, who responded with sand bombs and rubber bullets. 2 journalists were lightly injured by rubber bullets. Jerusalem Mayor Nir Barakat denounced the murder and called for calm. Tensions have swelled across the region since June 12, when 3 Israeli teenagers disappeared while hitchhiking in the West Bank. Their bodies were later found, with Israel blaming Hamas for the triple killings and vowed to hit the Islamist movement hard. And that wraps it on CoreTV Primetime News tonight. On behalf of the editing crew, I'm Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for watching.